Hello everyone. I'm Yumi from the American Democracy Channel. Today, I would like to introduce to you how you can enjoy your old age in the United States without worrying about money, including actual experiences of my relatives Jay and Susie. It should be helpful for everyone to see how the two people, who have been assigned overseas for a long time, prepared for their old age. In Japan, the issue of $200,000 in old age announced by the Financial Services Agency in 2019 caused a big problem at one point. In the present age, when the age of 100 years of life is about to come, retirement life after retirement is an unavoidable problem for everyone. Let's assume that people who have worked for a company for many years and paid a decent welfare pension will receive more than $200,000 in retirement allowance when they retire. And if you have a house, have already paid off your loan, and the two of you are receiving a monthly pension of about $2,500, you can live a decent life. How about that? However, the sickness that attacks those who think so destroys the planned life. In particular, if you have dementia, have cancer, or have to undergo dialysis, you do not know when you will be hit by the disaster, and statistics show that more than 50% of you will be affected by the disaster. It has been proven. There is a difference of 10 years or more between average life expectancy and healthy life expectancy. In particular, the probability of developing dementia is increasing almost every year, and the cost of moving into a facility and medical expenses for these purposes are extremely high. Once you have dementia, it will not heal until you die, and it will get worse over time. We are familiar with the care of these people for 10 years. With this in mind, there are probably few people who have assets for retirement, and there are not many people who can afford them. How about you? How about Jay?
I'm 68 years old and have already retired, but since I was young, I've traveled to various countries as an overseas dispatcher for the company, and I never thought about my old age. I think I was always focused on getting used to the life of the country I was sent to and accomplishing my assigned duties, and never thought about the future. After I got married, I was sent overseas with my family, and I had to worry about various lifestyles of my family, which was especially the case. However, Susie seems to have been thinking about various things.
Maybe because I'm still young, I haven't thought about my old age yet, but I have to think that I'm witnessing what Jay and Susie are saying and getting older. I don't think there are any companies in the United States that pay retirement benefits, no matter how many years they have worked for them. However, instead, it helps to create assets for old age. A typical 401k plan is to deduct from your monthly salary for savings and investment, and ask the asset management company to do it. The company will provide some assistance and this money will be tax deductible. Investing in funds is the main thing, and you can choose which fund you want to invest in. Nowadays, most people choose to invest rather than depositing money in a bank with low returns. After that, there are many people who invest in stocks themselves. What is Jay doing?
I got a job at a Japanese company and lived mostly overseas, but at that time I didn't talk about 401 kiloseconds. The 401k was recommended by the company when I retired from a small business that had been with me for 25 years and got a job at a local American company. I had been doing it for a certain period of time, but at one point I canceled the contract when I needed it, and after that I didn't do anything. At that time, I wasn't thinking about my old age.
Then, do you get a certain amount of retirement allowance from the Japanese company to prepare for your future retirement?
Unfortunately, the company in Japan provided only about $10,000, which was the cancellation of the retirement allowance reserve. It was a shock to have worked for 25 years and received only $10,000. Since I was a small and medium-sized enterprise, I started to save retirement allowances and didn't stand that way. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to have exceeded the minimum enrollment period of 25 years, when the welfare pension was paid, by about 2 months. So maybe I get the lowest line month, about $950 at face value.
Then, isn't life quite difficult?
You cannot live on that alone. After that, I was enrolled in an American company for more than 20 years, and during that time I was paying the U.S. welfare pension, so I am getting a pension of about $1,900 from the age of 62. If it was a general payment from the age of 66, it would have been $2,500, but due to various circumstances, we decided to receive it early. About $140 will be deducted from this as Medicare, which is the old age medical insurance fee, and about $1,760 will be taken out.
Is it about $2,710 in total, including the amount for Japan? Isn't it a good deal?
Now spending about $4,000 a month. Susie also started receiving a pension and started receiving about $850, so the total is $3,560. It's pretty close to spending, but it's in the red.
That means that you're spending about $440 from your savings every month?
No, I don't save money, so I don't have much. I'm thinking of using a credit card in an emergency that requires a certain amount of high spending. The shortfall and the cost of the occasional trip are covered by the rental house we are currently doing.
That's right. Until now, neither of them had talked about money problems, so I thought there was something tricky. Can you give me some more details?
I didn't want to reveal this much, but I'll talk about it as I might get this job done in the near future. Susie seems to have been interested in investing in real estate since she was quite young, and seems to have saved a down payment to buy her house during her 2-year stay in the Middle East. There isn't much place to spend money in the Middle East, so we used that money to buy our first home in Canada, where it was next dispatch destination. We lived there, but we bought another one for investment. Both are purchases with a mortgage. I was Japanese, but I was able to get a loan without any problems. 2 years later, after company asked to move from Canada to the United States, we sold our first home. The second case was rented as an investment property and as a rental house. However, due to the distance, various inconveniences overlapped, and I also sold this rental house and used it to fund the purchase of a house in the United States. It seems that the first house didn't make much money because I hadn't stood there since I bought it. The second case was similar. The first home I bought in the United States was in a town in the middle of a large island called Long Island, New York. It was about $180,000 at the time of purchase, so it was a 2-story house. There are sites in the United States where you can check the selling and buying prices of real estate, so let's check what is happening now.
It's the house we lived in all the time. I've lived from a young age to high school, so I miss it.
I miss that house too. It is a real estate introduction site called Zillow of Microsoft system. First, enter information such as the area, town or state you are looking for. This time, we will enter the address directly by looking at the information of the specific house that we already know. It's 25 Savor Street in Kings Park, New York. It came out. It is 2,899 square feet. Convert to square meters, it will be about 270 square meters. It has 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There was an office room, and it became a small bedroom, so it was actually 5 bedrooms. It's not on the market, so you can't see what's inside from this site, but you can see in the photo if it's on the market for sale. Also, if you have a history of buying and selling within 8 years, you will have a photo. View the history of buying and selling. There is no old record at the time of purchase, as we only have a history of when we sold it. But in 1990, 31 years ago, I'm pretty sure I bought a 17-year-old single-family home for $180,000. The valuation of this site is currently $600,000, which is more than tripled. Perhaps unthinkable in Japan. This means that even an old house built in 1973, about 50 years ago, will triple in price in just over 30 years. Of course, in the meantime, I change the roof slate, replace the water heater and air conditioner, and repaint, but most of them are minor remodeling. In the 15 years we lived, we used a contractor to replace the roof and exterior walls, and we replaced the bathroom tiles and only one bathtub ourselves. I invested about $40,000 in total, but when I sold it in 2004, I could easily recover these costs. That's because the price has risen by $270,000.
In the United States, population growth is happening everywhere and housing demand is always high, so this kind of buying and selling is normal. Also, I think the reason why the price doesn't go down is that the materials used for American houses are 50 to 100 years long resistance. It may be that the price of land is not as heavy as the total price, unlike the price of a house. By the way, it's kind of enough about the past, but let's talk about how we are making money now.
Yes, as with any part of the United States, making money from buying and selling a home generally takes time, so you can't make a profit right away. Also, it is difficult to make such a profit by simply buying a general house and renting it. It's from rent to administration, maintenance, things that need to be replaced in the future, such as appliances, water heaters, air conditioners, roofs, floors, carpets, and occasional repainting costs a total of about $40,000. This is because it is necessary to deduct from the monthly rent and save it. Now let's look at an example. This was the one we sold last January, but we've been renting it for rent ever since we bought it in a new building. The rent for this typical 3LDK single-family home is around $1,350. From now on, about $750 will be deducted from the various expenses and maintenance fees such as turf maintenance mentioned above. And about $350 of damage compensation insurance premium and real estate tax will be deducted. The total expenditure will be about $1,100. Therefore, $200 will be your monthly income. You can see that it is not so profitable for renting. However, I continue to lend it as a rent and earn $200 every month, and on top of that, I can expect a price increase in the future. This detached house is about $180,000 at the current price. If you have the financial resources to buy at this price, do you anticipate this profit and future? Maybe it depends a lot on your age. If you get sick in old age and you really need money, you can sell it. After about 5 years, I'm sure there will be no loss. You can expect some price increase. However, if you want to sell it immediately, it is easier not to buy it and you will not waste time.
Ah, that's why this house was sold. I had lived in a house once, so I felt regrettable and wanted to not sell it, but I have to say that the profit of $200 monthly is not very attractive. If most single-family homes look like this, I don't think it makes much sense to invest. However, since it was sold about 15 years after it was purchased, wasn't there a certain price increase?
Yes, that's right. However, this property was quite expensive as it was purchased in 2005, the height of the housing bubble. We bought it for about $16,000 and the selling price was $180,000, so the price increased by only $20,000. The maintenance costs for this house came from the monthly rent, so $20,000 was a pure profit. The house was bought new and is only 15 years old, so the monthly profit was $500 because of the little maintenance and expense. So the total profit was $90,000 as $500 monthly profit by 12 months by 15 years.
You bought it at a high price during the bubble era, but you had some profit. However, it seems that an investment of nearly $200,000 and a monthly profit of about $500 is not enough to support life in old age.
That's right. I don't think there will be any loss. But after all, no matter how much you can expect a price increase in the future by throwing out something that is close to all your fortune, you will not be willing to invest much at $500 every month. That's why I focused on a two-family house called duplex. First, let's take a look at the property. This property was already sold in October last year. Duplex is becoming more popular with investors and sells as soon as it goes on sale. And this Microsoft-based Zillow estimates the rent to be $1,550, which is too high for one unit and too cheap for two units. From the current market price, if it is 3 LDK and the area is about 1,000 square feet, it will be about $1,100 to $1,200. By the way, let's look at the rental price for the property that is currently looking for tenants. Currently, it seems that there is no duplex of the same size as this property, but it is a little wider than this property and we are looking for a tenant for about $1,300, so we judge that about $1,150 is a reasonable price.
I agree. I've been looking at rental properties for about 10 years, and it's getting higher day by day. The reason is that the demand is increasing considerably due to the increase in population, but isn't it a good thing for the landlord?
I agree. If you buy this today, after about a month, all the procedures will be completed and you can recruit tenants. If you find a new tenant in a week or two and sign a rental contract, the rent will start to come in 2 months later.
Does the rent start coming in so quickly? It's a little incredibly fast.
Now, in Florida, the primary baby boomers per New York State are retiring due to old age and are migrating in large numbers to this warm climate. In particular, due to the influence of the new corona, the momentum is increasing, and the shortage of housing continues now. Retired people buy a house because they have the money to sell their own house, but the young people who take care of them ask for a job, so there is a shortage of rental properties for them. There is. In particular, there are many medical personnel. In addition to doctors and nurses in hospitals, the number of people involved in nursing care such as nursing homes is increasing.
That's right. A town cannot be built by old people alone.
That's why it's the lender market right now, and the movement of primary baby boomers will continue for about 30 years, so this is the case for renting as well. In the case of duplex, the rent is 1.5 to 1.8 times higher than when renting a single-family house, while the costs and maintenance costs are almost the same. Therefore, the monthly income of this property is about $1,100. Of course, the price of this property will increase in the future, so even if you sell it in an emergency, you will get more money than your original money. It will definitely sell in the current market within a month, and I am confident that it will sell in the near future as well. That's because the population is growing steadily. It is different from the market like Japan where the population decline cannot be stopped.
That's right. This town has been ranked number 1 in the United States many times for about 14 years in terms of population growth, and I feel that the number of people is increasing year by year. The number of shops has increased considerably compared to when I moved here. Shall we keep this much today? Mr. J, next time, can you tell us about the advantages and disadvantages of purchasing by a foreigner, what you need to be aware of, and what you can do if you cannot purchase by yourself in terms of price?
Yes, I will do it.
Well then, I'm sorry about that today. If you are interested in this story, please give it a high rating and subscribe to the channel and wait for the next story. Thank you very much for watching until the end. Goodbye until the next opportunity.